Good morning, guys. Welcome to my Flosstube. I'm back on my weekly rotation here. It is Wednesday, March the 26th. It's 8:10 in the morning and yeah, light's good. So I thought, let's get this done. I'm on a late today. So I've got time to get my video done and some stitching and some posting. Still a bit behind with my needle minders. Hopefully they'll go out today. Yeah, we've had a bit of another bit of a week this week, but from here on in we should just be at home. Richard's had his right eye operated on yesterday. Yeah, it wasn't brilliant, to be honest. The consultant surgeon basically said he kind of had to give up with it because the retina was not so much detached as disintegrated. And when there's bits and pieces at the bottom of your eyeball, there's not much you can do to pop that back on. The bit around the optic nerve is all still there, so he's kind of popped that back in place, but it doesn't look like there's any blood flow at all, either to the optic nerve or to the bit of retina that's joined to his optic nerve. And he says 90% of your vision is used on that, is on that piece of retina. So he's not going to get, but he's not going to get 90% of vision back. Obviously not. The consultant basically doesn't think his eye will work at all. So I've just taken the pad off this morning. We got discharged straight away. Basically, it was like, I've done what I can. You go home, get better, come back in 2 weeks, and I'll have a look in them and see you know how everything's holding together, kind of thing. So we'll be back in 2 weeks over to the northeast to see what's what with that. Until then, we truckle on. And on Sunday, of course, we had the wedding, which was lovely, really lovely. It was lovely and small. It was a lovely day, and the service was lovely. And yes, I was a little bit snivelly. It was really nice. It was really nice. I did indeed get my sleeves finished. They're upstairs, but I will be going up to get my Whip Go calls because I've not checked my box yet. We got Whip Go calls yesterday for April, so I'll check. I'll show you my stitching, and then I'll pull my numbers, and then I'll go and get my pieces, and I'll get the sleeves then, and I'll show you them. I wore them all day. They were fine. A little bit hard to get on and off because I did put a small a like ribbed welt on the opening. And of course that tightened it all up. It made it lie very nice on me, but it made it a little bit hard to get on. But I'll go and get them and show you them because I lost a lot of stitchy time knitting. Certainly through the Thursday and Friday, I had to do a lot of knitting. So my stitching got a little bit of a hit, but I got finished. I had one day last week I did not stitch on the treasure hunt bookshelf. I meant to. It was up in the bedroom. I can put the light on because, you know, when your other half wants to sleep and they've got no vision, you can have 3 downlights in the ceiling on with like a gazillion lumens pushing into the room. It's fine. They just go to sleep. They can't see them anyway. He can see, if I turn the lights on, he'll get the flash, but then the light doesn't stay, if you see what I mean. He'll get the, oh, somebody switched something on then. And then it's like his eyes go again. I don't know whether eventually they're going to go, ooh, okay, we're going to stay light, or whether it's always just going to be a flash. I did take him for a ride in the car last night because obviously he had a great big pad on his right eye just to see if his left eye would work. One, it was very late because he was sleeping and he woke up, and I was like, right, before we go to bed, we're just going to go once around the block. And of course there were no cars out anyway, and he'd also had an operation, so his brain was fuddly, really fuddly. So he didn't see very much last night, which has left me very downhearted because now if the right eye is going to be absolute crap, I was hoping the left eye would see a bit more when it was just his left eye. But I think he was just super tired, coupled with the fact that to operate on his eye, it's like the whole of this bit, including the brain, gets anaesthetised and frozen. So certainly yesterday afternoon, he was coming out with some real nonsense. And when he was sleeping, we've all got pets, yeah? You've seen a dog dreaming. He was doing that in his sleep. Like, and I actually gave him a little nudge and went, what's happening? And he went, oh, I was chasing a cat and I was trying to pick up the cat. And he was literally having like a really mobile dream. I was wondering whether it might have been a little seizure, but apparently he was running and trying to pick up a cat because his hand was grabbing, his hand was grasping. And then he went straight back to sleep after that and slept soundly. And then when he woke again, I was like, yeah, that really twitchy dream, and he couldn't remember at all. So yeah, he was running after a cat, but his feet were running. It's very, very, very strange. Anyway, yeah, I'm wondering whether the bit that got frozen, like the brain inside, is close to where the injury is, because as it came back to life, it was like we were 3 weeks ago in hospital, which is very frightening when we've got over that and we've recovered. He's very much more with it this morning. Thank goodness. He slept unbelievably well last night, absolutely out flat. So I'm trying to convince him to just stay in bed this morning and just have a really good rest. He wants to get up and get showered and get dressed and get him downstairs, and I'm like, just take it easy. I'm like, I'll go and do a video and see how you feel when I've done that. Right, we truck on. It's just quite disheartening for a consultant to say, yeah, there's nothing I could do. I kind of just put everything back where it belongs and that's all I can do, kind of thing. It's quite disheartening. Obviously, I'm super hopeful that when the eye heals a little bit, he'll be able to see the light and the colour that he could before. Can't be any worse, can it? Could it be worse? Could we made it worse? This is what I'm worrying about at the moment, that he had this before and now I've potentially made it worse. You can see the reflection of Sid just going past in the window there. He's just going into the corner to sit down. It's a lovely morning here. It's blue sky. It was completely foggy when I took Flora to the train station. She missed her train. She's had to get the next one. Apparently that's her fault. Yeah, it is. Very, very frustrating for me though. But when I'm not here, like yesterday morning, she totally got the train herself. But when I'm here, it's like, she's like, oh, I'm getting a lift round, so I don't need to be ready. And then the time the train leaves comes and goes, and who knows, you don't get on the train. Anyway. Right, stitching. Let's have some stitching, 7 minutes in. So last week I had a massive stitchy day yesterday. I knew I was going to be in hospital. I thought I was going to be in overnight. So I took most of my pieces with me. Well, I did a lot of stitching in the morning, a lot of stitching while he was in. I did 300 stitches into my key while he was in surgery. So, and then I stitched in the evening as well. So yesterday I did just over 2,000 stitches, and it felt good to get the stitches in, but I had nothing else to do. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have any space in my brain for anything else yesterday. And yes, I could have got lots of other little bits and bobs done in the day, but I just couldn't. I just had to just say, right, you know what, I'm sacking today. And I'm going to, well, see, I drove to Sunderland and back, which took, nearly 4 hours there and back. So, yeah, I did that too, but it was, I just had to, just sack off the day and stitch instead. And sometimes, you got to do what you got to do. So I've got some stitching to show you. Whoa, sorry, I've just got a white thing to put behind my stitching there. Okay, top of the page first. Tiny Modernist Sal. I have last week it looked like this, and I was nearly at the end of part 1, apart from the greenhouse frame. Now, I did finish part 1 apart from the greenhouse frame, and I started up on part 2. So for the week, part 1 and part 2, I did, only 462 stitches. I've done 200 this morning though, so yeah, I've not done as much of this as I maybe thought I had. There we go. So this is first part here to this line here. The edge of the greenhouse is on part 1, and then the rest of it is on part 2 there. This is on a lovely piece of Elemental. It's 36 count Lugana. It's a Lakeside Needlecraft Fabric of the Month, except you can just buy it on the website now. As soon as they've been on Fabric of the Month, they just put them up on the website to buy. So the Elemental's really lovely. It's blue and grey, and it kind of looks it's got a printed pattern that's not quite clouds, it's more kind of smoky. There, that bit there is very good representation, but it looked perfect for this. Apart from maybe the white, the unicorn stands out nicely, but I'm going to bead. There's my little tester of beads. I'm going to bead the frame. This is the edge, so I can bead part one, but I need this part out here so that I can bead before I bead the frame here. So I probably will go in and do some beading on the frame for next week so that we can see how it looks. But I know now that I can fit all of part one in and get part two right to the edge. This is the edge of the fabric here, but then I've got another part this side which will be the same size. So I can't bead this part because I'll need to move the Q-snap right across, but I can bead this part. Anyway, only 462 into part two here. As you can see, I've done some of the yellow. I went across here just to see how long, see how wide it was, and then I've just done this one mushroom and I've put this green in this morning. So there we go. So I'm really happy with that. It's a beautiful little piece. It's so bright and cheerful. Kind of looks like hospital to me. you know when you predominantly do something somewhere specific, this is always going to look like hospital. I think a lot of my stitching this year will look like hospital to me, and that's unavoidable because that's going to be my life. Well, it has been my life for nearly 2 months now, very nearly 2 full months, and going forwards, less hospital, I think, and then we'll see. Right, so I have also did I get that? No, I had not finished the bee. I'd not finished the bee because I did another 676 stitches into the bee. This is a whip go call. That's an extra. My Tiny Modernist Sal is an extra for the month. I'm just going to move my camera down a little bit. I feel like a head detached at the top there. Right, so the bee had another 676 stitches to finish it. I think there's possibly so much cat hair on this black Ada. Probably a picture here of it. And here it is, completely finished. I do love these patterns. These are from, oh, it's literally something called like X Cross Stitch Patterns X on Etsy. I think she's Ukrainian. There's a lot of patterns very like this. But as I say, if you just go onto Etsy and search cross stitch spider, it'll be one of the first hits, and then you can go into a shop and find all of these. I bought 8 of these bugs in a pack, like as a one purchase, and it came as 4 separate PDFs. So what you might be able to see, I had to switch from, I was using no brand threads from Amazon that I got given at a Christmas here, so I pulled the one skein of each of the colours, and this wing here is a different colour. It's the same but it's different because this is DMC and this is whatever Chinese knockoff, and the difference is obvious, and that is 3760. That is a DMC 3760, which is perfect here, and the other colour is not. Oh, that's not that one, it's the darker one. That 3760 doesn't match very well either. I mean, I can see the difference looking at it very clearly. It go from this bit of the wing here and that bit of the wing there are the same colour. This is DMC and that is not. But I had them and I thought I'd give them a try, and that's what it looks like. And up on the wall, the fact that one wing's a slightly different colour to the other wing doesn't bother me. They're going in my house. And that's the bee finished. So 676 stitches finished the bee, and then I trucked on with the ladybird. Some of the ladybird's leg placings is choice. I'd already started them, mostly wrong, because apparently that's how it is. I'm just going to do the other leg of that stitch. Right, so my ladybird, I think I took a picture of it, looked like this, and it had 1400 stitches to finish it completely. I'll put it up on the, I'll put the number up. It doesn't really matter. I think it was about 1400 stitches left to finish the ladybird. So I have put in 1176 and it now looks like this. You can see what's left to go. The ladybird is finished. All I have to do is that, these bits, that bit. That's all that's left. Everything else is finished. It looks a bit sparse because there's legs. There, you can see the legs now. The legs are in 823. One of my lovely navy blues, that really blue navy blue. But a bit hard to see them there, but up close you can totally see there's legs. Yeah, the legs are all, as you can see here, that leg's up there and this leg's down here. Leg's meant to be up there. I don't know why I did the leg down there. So this one here consequently is a little further down because I tried to space it a bit further down, and then this leg's where it's meant to be as well. So this leg's a bit higher. Anyway, never mind. 1176 into this. I've got I think about 300 stitches left to finish this ladybird. I'm going to try and get it done today, and then that will be a whip go. That will be the second whip go call finished. Because I've already finished this went in the box with the new with the pointed fifth, so that'll be a giveaway so we will have a giveaway next week when I show you this finished, and I'll be able to say I finished my whip go. So that's at least 2 of my whip go goals will be finished, which is great. So yeah, I've just got a little bit of 964, that's DMC, and 3760. So I've used up the whole skein of the knockoff Chinese floss. I struggled, it's not cotton, it's probably more polyester than cotton, that one. So these, we're using DMCs now. If I run out, I'm just using the DMC. It does have a completely different look and feel, but hey ho, I'm getting them finished. That was the goal. It's a step lower than CXC thread. It's not even CXC kind of quality, but it is what it is, and it was a Christmas present, and I will use them for odd things like that. And then I have an awful lot of them left, which I'm assuming I'll have to make cords or something. I'll have to learn how to make tassels or something to use it all up, because there's a lot of it, because it's one skein of each colour. Okay, next I have got I'll show you the key. I've not moved my Q-snap. I've nearly moved my Q-snap, but I didn't. It looked like this the last time I recorded. The key now, I put in 1888 stitches in that week, all in the same place on my Q-snap, and it now looks like this. So as you can see, it's a lot more filled in. A lot of the darker colours have gone in under this wing. I'm basically concentrating on this piece, this side of the brick, the bit under his wing, and then I'm going over there, and I'm trying to like colour complete within my Q-snap of the colours that are in that space. So the confetti-ish bits are kind of done, and then these bits, this will maybe be 2 colours here, and will end up looking a bit like this bit here, as you can see from a bit that's much more finished here. Ugh, let me just shake that out. The background ends up looking a bit like that. There's a moth there. There's very few ninja stitches there. So under his wing is where I've been working, and I think I'm about 1500 stitches maybe off my whip go goal. So I'm going to try and get the key whip go done. So that would be 3. I've got another 6 days. So maybe. And then I picked up the new normal, which looked like this when I picked it up, because I took a picture of it. I am reasonably certain I took a picture of it. And yeah, I've had a bit of an issue with page breaks, because when you put a long dog sampler into Pattern Keeper, very often, and it's random, sometimes it happens horizontally, sometimes it happens horizontally, sometimes it happens vertically, sometimes it happens on both axes. When you put it into Pattern Keeper, it takes out a line. Some of them have taken out 2 lines, which is really difficult. I'm learning now, and I'm doing it now, but this is kind of already started, and I didn't do it when I started it, to go, when I get to the pattern break lines, 1, I leave them in, and 2, when I get to a pattern break line, I go into the PDF and I stitch that sort of 4-stitch margin both sides of the pattern line, and then I go back to Pattern Keeper and have to kind of reset it, if you see what I mean. I can mark off the bits and there's stitches missing. So there's counting issues on this, but I couldn't work out what the hell I'd done, because I'm not that bad at counting, you know, not for it to be like, why is this so out? Why is it so out? Why doesn't it work? Yeah, it was mostly down to, actually, I think I need to fix this, and I really have fixed this, but I've got a cat. I'll show you in a second. I've got a cat with a funny head, but it looks funny on the PDF, I'm sure, because I've looked at the PDF and I frogged it all out and stitched it from the PDF, and it still looks funny. So I don't know whether it's meant to look funny or I've just made a mistake and not picked it up. Anyway, so the new normal has had so far 1,522 of its 5,000 stitches, and I've done that in three stitchy sessions. I got a lot done yesterday, I'm not gonna lie. I did a lot yesterday, like 700 stitches yesterday. So I was concentrating on here. Look, there is the cat with the funny head. I think it's looking up, but I think it's missing. I think I've lopped a bit of the side of its head off. I might just snip those stitches and give it an ear, just so it doesn't look so weird. His back was he was only 2 stitches wide, because the page break goes literally up there. So the whole bubble, I think, was 3 stitches wrong, too small. And it was just mistake on mistake. So all I've got left to do in this bubble here is the swan's feathers, and then a little bit here. So I'm going to get all the swan's feathers in, and then just fudgy this bit. And I think I need to do something, like literally just frog out a few stitches and just leave an ear for him, I think. I then also put in quite a few stitches into this Leo here, the lion here, and he is correct because I went to the PDF. Again, the page break goes down here, and there is also a page break that goes across here, I think. So it was kind of the double whammy of it all getting crunched, so I had to take quite a bit out to fix it, to make it the right shape. And then I thought, for goodness sakes, why don't I just print out a paper pattern and use a paper pattern, because one along dogger paper pattern's really easy to use. And then it's like, no, actually, I want to know where I'm going and I want to know how many stitches I'm doing. So I've gone back to my Pattern Keeper. And then for the Prancy Pony here, I just finished outlining the Prancy Pony. So his second foot is in. This foot here is slightly fudged again because of the page break. It's just, I think it's that way. I don't know. Honestly, there's the page breaks are problematic especially on this one for some reason. But I'm just going to truck along, get my stitches in, and be happy that I've done them. So, and this is going to come up again as well, so I'm going to have another go at this one. My Prancy Pony, I do need to do something with. Now, the Prancy Pony has got a pattern. So I'm wondering if when I stitch the Prancy Pony, instead of stitching, and I will print out a page pattern for this, instead of stitching the pattern, I might stitch the pony in reverse, so I'm stitching the negative space, but I'll stitch the Prancy Pony in one of these colours, probably this one here, so that he stands out, because I think he's lost. I think the Prancy Pony gets very lost there. So I'm going to just probably stitch the negative space and then leave the pattern that's on the pony. I think he's got like cubes on him. I'm going to leave the pattern unstitched and stitch the negative, so the pony's filled in. Obviously I will count those stitches manually because they will all count, and then I'll just mark them off on Pattern Keeper as done. So he's coming along. 1522. I'm quite happy. This is 40 count to a one strand of DMC or whatever over 2. When I say whatever, I have a very sparse little box here of pinks and teals and mixy muddles and things that I have, basically. Some of it's DMC, there is a Weeks, there is a Krynic I pinched from my mum, there is, I think that might be Down Under Blues, there's a Karen Water Lily, very nice. Oh, there's another Karen Water Lily there. Oh, I've already, no, what's that one? Orchid, very pretty. That's purple, I'll probably use it. And then there's lots of variegated pinks and some DMC and some silk and just bog standard DMCs and 3842, obviously. Anyway, there's lots in here. That is a silk. It's glorious. It looks like DMC, but that's a silk. It's lovely. I think that's Dinky Dye. It's just not really, ever so slightly variegated, but only just, but it's got that lovely I am silk look about it. And there's something's been frogged there because it's crinkly. Right, so I've got a very small box of new normal colours, and I'll either pull from this or go hunting for something that I want. And I'm just making it up as I go along. As I get to a new bubble, I'm like, okay, this bubble I'll use this for, this bubble I'll use that for. This one over here, I started in this corner and then promptly lost. The funny feeling it's one of the colours that I'm using for Gone to Pieces. I promptly lost that colour, this colour here. It might very well be that. So this pink here is something slightly variegated and I've lost it. But I'll find something that matches in. There's a nasty blob of coffee or something there. I'll try and actually remove that because this is a beautiful piece of Be Stitch Me fabric and it's called Aegean, which was a wonderful gift. All of my Be Stitch Me fabric was gifted to me because, yeah, yeah. I'm very much contemplating dyeing some fabric. I really want to buy a couple of meters of fabric and just have a go and cut them into pieces and dye them and see how we get along. I just want to. Okay, so the only thing left to show you is my treasure hunt bookshelf, which has had 906 stitches put into it in the week, and oops, I didn't quite stitch on it one day just because I fell asleep. I just fell asleep. I meant to stitch and then I didn't. I woke up and it was the next morning and Pattern Keeper had reset. For me, the cut-off is when Pattern Keeper resets at 4 in the morning British time. So I could have put in 4 stitches at 3 minutes to 4 and that would have been 4 stitches. However, which I have done before, I went to sleep and when I woke up it was 6 o'clock in the morning and that was too late. So I've just put a cross in my book and an oops. Never mind, that's 2 days this year I've not stitched on it. First day was chaotic and I was in hospital overnight with Richard and yeah. And the second time I just fell asleep. Moral of the story, do your stitches before you fall asleep. So 906 in the week. Here is what it looked like the last time I filmed. I've not moved my Q-snap, so now it looks like this. And I'm just carrying on. I did put a few stitches into this little light beam thing last night. Just a few. Quite a few are just single, if it will focus. Just single stitches of a single colour. I think I put in 4 of those before I got bored, and then one wasn't in my box and I was like, meh, back to something big. So I got some 310 and I finished off the 310 down this bit here. There's tons of 310 over here, but I finished off my 310 here. Massive great chunk of 939 to go in here. Almost all of this is solid 939, like completely solid stitching. You can see there's a sharp edge there where I've just done a block. I might just pull some 939 and just go and do that bit and very quickly add in 500 or 600 stitches. Yeah, I think it's at about 32.5% now, so it is what it is, that one. Okay, so that means my week for the week, I did for for the week, I did 6,912 stitches. 2,000 of that was yesterday. So, yeah, it was okay. It was a good week. It was a good week, but a lot of the stitches was yesterday because I just had to just stitch yesterday. My brain wasn't up for anything else. Which gives me, for a year to date, of 75,179 all in, every piece, counting every stitch. So that's that. So I'm hopeful this week that I will absolutely get my B finished. I'm very hopeful that I'll get my key finished, and I'm going to carry on with the new normal. I might not get 5,000 stitches into it because I've done 1,500, so I'd need to do 3,500 stitches into it in 6 days, which is totally doable. But whether it's going to be what I want to stitch on or not is another thing. We'll see. If it's what I want to stitch on, I might very well finish that Whip Go goal too. So I'm hoping 3 of my 4 Whip Goes will be done before the end of the month. I've still got 2 outstanding from February, but you know, my life changed in February. My life continues to be changed. My life will be changed forever. But I am adjusting. And realistically, that's all we can do, is just deal with the circumstances we've had dealt to us. And however bad I feel, it's a hell of a lot bad for Richard, because he is going to be living in the dark forever. And that's all we can do. And if now and again he gets a bright light or he gets a flash of colour, that's better than being in the dark. But I don't think there's going to be shapes. I don't think there's going to be vision as such. We are going to be living with pretty much blindness, I think. Looking at the consultant's face yesterday, and he knows what he's talking about. I can't go, oh, he doesn't know. It's all going to get better. Yeah, he does eyes. He knows about eyes. And he's basically said the optic nerves are buggered. And it doesn't matter what's going on in your eyeball if your optic nerve can't transmit the messages that it sees. But there are bits of light getting through to his brain, because his brain is seeing cars going by. So, and your brain can't fill that in, and it does. His brain does sometimes give him images, and he knows it's his brain just projecting stuff, which is horrible. It's like when people have a limb amputated and then they can feel the limb. It's basically that, but with your eyes. So your brain projects a little image in front of you. But when he says, oh, I could see the side of your face then, and he looks at me, he doesn't know I was sitting there as such, because it's only when he's been asleep that he'll suddenly wake up and go, oh, I saw the side of your face. The other day I was making us breakfast, and I handed him a plate of food, and I didn't realise he was asleep, and obviously jolted him awake, and he went, I can see that. And I said, well, what can you see? And he said, well, there's two round bits of toast. And I was like, yeah, it's a bagel with ham and poached eggs on top. So, but he didn't know what I was making him, and he didn't know what was being handed to him. So that wasn't his brain interpreting that. But now I'm really worried that was with his right eye, and now his right eye's been fussed with, and it might be worse, because consultants told me his right eye's knackered. So if he could see little flashes last week, maybe he can't see them now. He won't see anything out of it today. We know that, because his left eye didn't work for a day. And work is a very loose statement. His left eye didn't do any light perception for the first 24 hours anyway. So I'm not expecting anything from his right eye just yet. Let's go to Whip Go. So Jessie called the Whip Go numbers, I think yesterday, might have even been the day before. I think it was yesterday. And we have got 4 and 10 for April. So let's pull out 4. Oh, 4's got a 4 and 10. And let's see what I've got, and then I'll go and get my pieces. So 4. Okay, nice pieces. So 4, I've got City of Love, Emma Congdon piece, 5,000 stitches, and Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow, and I need to do 1 whole block. That is going to be a push. That might be a rollover. I'm just prefixing myself right now. It's going to be interesting to count the stitches on that because I have no idea how many stitches are in those massive full coverage blocks. Almost full coverage blocks, and I did the easy one. I did the least full coverage one last year to try and chivvy myself along a bit. So I've made my bed there. This year's block will be more substantial. Okay, and 10. Ooh. Oh my goodness, you can't make it up. I've got Shores of Hawk Run Hollow. I've got the 2025, I've got both Hawk Run Hollows. I've got both of them. Wow. Okay. Paper patterns it is. Goodness me. That's a lot. And then number 10 is Meditation 3.2. That's pretty good. I'm going to say I'm probably going to manage this one. This one will be good. Right, I'm going to pause my video. I'm going to run upstairs, get those 4, and I'll show you where I'm at. Oh, crikey. Oh dear. Right, I'll go get my pits. Hang on. Right, I'm back. Gone and got my pieces. Rich has gone back to sleep, which is great. He is sleeping, and I thought I'd show you my sleeves. So when I said sleeves, this is what I meant. So they're the perfect length for me, which is there. That's just where I want a sleeve to finish. And basically they are just sleeves to the back. You can see I did a bit of short row shaping just to get the welt right, and that's it. Just sleeves with a mouth in the middle, and they just go on like that. That's it. Pair of sleeves, very cozy. Suppose I could wear them as a scarf really. Side note, Maddie cut 6 inches off my hair so that I could wear it. I had it down for the wedding, but just clipped there because I can't be down because that would make me crazy. So yeah, she cut 6 inches off my hair. It feels very short now. It's not very short, but it feels very short. So lost a lot of stitchy time to knitting, but I'm very happy with them. They fit really well. As I say, a bit of a struggle to get on because I lost the stretchy by doing the welt. I caught the stitches from the armpit, did that bit, did 3 rows and cast off for the top bit because I didn't want it bunching up behind my neck. And for the bottom bit, I caught my stitches up, and then I went right the way across twice, and then I came back to 12, came back to 12, came back to 12, came back to 12, and then did 2, 2, 2 and 2, and then did 2 full rows and cast off, so the welt's deeper at the middle of my back than it is in my armpit, so it's kind of a shape. And that's the joy of an awful lot of knitting for a very long time, fitting garments to yourself so that you're actually going to wear them. Again, I just made the sleeves the length I wanted them. I didn't follow a pattern. Basically, I did buy a pattern. I did buy a sleeves pattern that I just basically, it said cast on 53 stitches, so I started with 53, and that was basically all of the pattern I used, because after that I knitted in the round on a tiny little sock needle, which was fantastic, and just kept going. And then when I got to here, I went on to flat needles, knitted this bit flat until it got to there. I only did 6 rows after my video last week. 6 rows did it, joined it back on, and then knitted the other sleeve. So this sleeve here is why I didn't get as much stitching done, but I did do 2,000 stitches yesterday, which kind of offset it. Anyway, I was very comfy in this. It was very nice. It was cozy. I didn't have a t-shirt that hung badly under it. I had a nice dress that I'd also made. I made 7 years ago, I think. It was for my nephew's christening. So it might have been 7 or 8 years ago I made that. So I made the dress and I made the sleeves. I never look the same as anybody else. I'm one of these people who's incapable of looking like anybody else, because when I go to a function or something, I'm generally wearing something I've made myself. And it's a beautiful dress made from Liberty fabric, and it's very pretty. And I was very pleased that it went on. I don't recommend the stress of visiting the person you love in hospital for a month as a weight loss game. not a good thing to have to do, but I didn't eat for a long time, so. My dress fit. What is it? Look, when it rains, look for rainbows. My dress fit, so there we go. And before it didn't, so. Anyway, Whip Go calls. I have pulled out of a delightful bag, this one, so pretty, with the coral colour inside and the crazy like lemon yellow zip. Very strange. Which I used because the back of the zip's the same colour. It's lemon yellow teeth, but the back of the body of the zip's the same colour as the lining, so that's why I used that zip, even though it's got weird lemon yellow tab on it. So, City of Love, it's an Emma Congdon piece. It is currently here. I'll give you my percentages when we get into. It's here. It's glorious. And I love it. And I will be very happy. I think I will iron this. I was stitching it in a hoop. I will be stitching it in a Q-snap. The hoop just didn't quite rest neatly on my lap. So I'll be putting it in a Q-snap, and I'm going to, I think, quite easily get stitches into this. I love this piece. It's very easy to pick up 2 colours and really do a lot of stitching very quickly with just a couple of colours that you've got with you that day. Absolutely love it. I'm very happy to put 5,000 stitches into this in April, barring, you know, hideous disasters and extended hospital stays. And anyway, City of Love is a number 4. Oh, I've put them in my book actually. And then Halloween, the other number 4 is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow, which is Carriage House samplings in a Halloween pumpkin cat bag, which I love. And this one is my odd full kit it as you go kind of thing. You can see my muted colours. Some of them are the given DMCs, some of them I make up as I go along. And the cover sheet is here. Can I do a cover sheet faster than I can insert a picture? Here. So we have done this one and this one, these 2, and that one. No, I've not done that one. I've done 4 blocks. Oh crikey, they're all so full coverage. I can't even begin to tell you which one I'm going to do. Possibly, because this one here is not too full coverage, except I'm stitching it in reverse, so I'm stitching the swamp, so all of that will be full coverage. This is entirely full coverage. No, it's not. The 3 coffins are full coverage. This one is basically all but this strip at the top. This one, I've just got the bit behind the trees. This one, that bit there is not full. This one here is not too bad. This one's completely 100% coverage. And this one, pretty much there. Might be the pumpkins. I might do the pumpkins and the very scary looking guy, scarecrow. So at the moment, hoping not too much light comes through this. At the moment this, oh, it's too much light coming through it. I need another piece of cross stitch behind it. Let's use the other Hawk Run Hollow because it should be exactly the same size. Yes, it is, which is good. Okay, so this is currently here. This is on a piece of blurple fabric that I hand dyed myself after much heartache. I dyed this myself, trying and over dyeing. It is absolutely glorious. It's very purple really in real life. It's not showing anywhere near as purple as it is. Anyway, I've been working on this for 4 years and there are 4 blocks done. So I do 1 block a year. So I'm thinking this year we might go down here and we might do the pumpkin patch. I will decide literally as I start stitching the block, but how I've set this up, every single block has got a start, so I can start anywhere on this piece. I can do any block I like. Turns out those 2 are fully bordered. That one's fully bordered. The one next to it, not so much. And then these ones here, this side, not so much, but they all have a little start on them so that I can stitch on any block. I'm thinking possibly the pumpkin patch this year as my 2025 block because it looks easier. I'll need to dredge some oranges for that, for some pumpkins. I've got a lot of over-dyed hand dyes in my pack here that I tend to use. If I use it in this piece, I'm putting it in here so I can pull from here first, just to try and get some consistency in my piece. But with those delightful oranges, I might just go with the DMCs because I went with the DMCs on these. That one is an over dye. I'll match the pumpkins in, basically. Okay, so the other Hook Run Hollow call is my oldest whip. This is the first piece I started when I found cross stitch, when I found Flosstube. Yes, this is what I chose. I went on Arts and Design's website, I ordered this and I ordered the piece of fabric. I had no idea what I was ordering. I've got a horrible piece of witch oak fabric, which I hate. It's lovely to stitch on, but I hate the feel of it. It literally makes my skin crawl. Here is the Shawls of Hook Run Hollow that I picked in my folly to stitch. And I already decided last year that I was going to do the front half of this ship this year. So this is my block. This is my block for this year. I have been stitching on this since 2018, I think. I think 2018 I started this. So this is my oldest whip. And it hasn't quite been a block a year, because I did start so many other things and this got put to the wayside. And then I realised if I stitched a block a year, eventually I'd get it done. So for the last couple of years, I have been stitching a block a year. The last 3 years, I've stitched a block a year. And that's where I'm at. And at the moment, I seem to be going in order, because this was last year's block, which was a lot of coverage. I'm really glad I did persist and get it finished. And as you can see, this is a glorious Technicolor version of this piece. It matches not. It matches not. And it matters not. So I am going to stitch myself that first half of the block there. This block here. 2025, and then this will probably be 2026's block. So one half of that coming up in 2025. So that'll go there. And that's that one. So that's good. We'll get that one on the go. That's lovely. Paper patterns are actually very easy to cart around. It's all in these two were the two that were most sorted. This one has lived in a project bag from the word go. Again, anything I've kind of used in it is just shoved in the bag, and I rummage through this first. So for like the colours of the water, I'll take colours out of my bag first, because I'll have already used them for water probably, and we have that little tiny bit of consistency, rather than me dredging colours that are close but aren't quite, you know, a slightly different tone or might clash a little bit. I have got all sorts in here, literally all sorts. There's colouring cottons, there's classic colourworks, there's DMC variegations, there's DMC, there's anchor, there's dinky dyes, there's all sorts in here, which is absolutely fine and marvellous. And I will get on with my block when the month turns. Oh, I did the waves, last year's block, I did the waves on the little bit of water in DMC Etoile. So I might do that. You see that, and that will just bring the consistency along a little bit. And that's back in its bag. Let's put this one back in its bag for now, because I'm not touching these. I've got 6 days now where I'm really going to try and get some of my March whip goes out of the way. And then the only one left there is 3.2, so 3200 stitches on Meditation, which is an enormous piece. Elizabeth Welker, I'm sure, is the artist. It's a Haid. It looks like this finished. Yeah, this is one of my forever pieces. because mine currently looks like that. Is that in the camera? I can't even see. Yeah, there we go. The piece is going to fill this fabric. It's square, but it's going to fill this fabric. Yeah, not just now it's not, huh? This is literally like 5% done. But it looks like I've been a grid as you go kind of thing. This is before even gridded fabric fell into my hands. Here we go. This is 20 count, 1 strand of DMC. I started in the centre. I was doing extreme cross country, which isn't working now because it's got extreme. So what I'm going to do, first job, is to finish the 310. Just here, finish that 310. And then I'll go in, and then the next 310 is about 1.5 inches away. There's another band of 310 round here. And that's where I got myself jammed because I couldn't work out how I was going to count up to it without making a mistake. And the answer is don't. Leave it for later. It's still kind of extreme cross country. I'll just get to that colour when I get back to that colour kind of thing. It doesn't ruin the process if I don't do all the 310 as extreme cross country because I need to count to it. So I'm going to pick up the colours that are in here and I'm going to do those. And I need to do 3,500 stitches, and I think that's really very doable because it's a lovely piece. It's very, very easy to stitch on, and I'm quite happy to have a good go at meditation. So there's my 4 whip goes for April. Next time I see you, we will be in April because there's only 6 days left of this month. There's 6 days, well, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 days, 6 days left of this month. So that will be 1 day into March. I'll be back March the 2nd or March the 1st, 2nd or 3rd, depending. Probably the 2nd. With my eyeball update and my stitchy update. And we'll do that. Other stuff, as I say, I should be posting out the needle minders today. Again, I got a bit bogged down. We had the wedding, we had surgery yesterday. So I hope you love them, people who are getting them. And I have not yet done a shop. I have not yet made bags. I've had all my time off. It's gone in a whisper because I had life. Oh, and the cake. I did the cake. I made the wedding cake. Here's a picture of the wedding cake. I made so much chocolate cake. There's chocolate cake everywhere. I have got the best. I hybrided 2 recipes together, tested it again and got it perfect. This is delicious and fudgy, but not wet. There's a very fine line between fudgy cake that's wet and fudgy cake that's cake. This is cake, but it's on the line. It's the best recipe ever. Anyway, I've done a hybrid and I'm so pleased with it. So I made the cake, finally. That's 3 layers this deep, and which was 6 batches of the cake and 6 quantities of the cake batter. Made 6 cakes. And I then cut the tops off to make them. It didn't dome, it kind of cracked and did that. So we've got all the tops, which we are eating our way through. I've put some in the freezer. It's everywhere, this cake. It's so good. Anyway, we're eating lots of cake. And then she just wanted plain vanilla buttercream. That is 5 blocks of butter, so 1.25 kilos. Our blocks of butter in the UK are 250 grams. So yeah, and then double for buttercream, you just double the quantity of butter. It's by weight. So 250 grams of butter, 500 grams of icing sugar, 2 teaspoons of really good vanilla. I bought some really nice vanilla. Normally I just use the crappy essence, but I bought really nice vanilla, which made it really tasty. Made very plain buttercream and put them all together. So it's 3 layers of cake. So the cakes were this deep. And I did a just under 12 inch and just over 9 inch they were. I found 2 pans in the cupboard. Live with a chef, you find cake pans. I was going to buy cake pans and then I found cake pans, so I'm glad I didn't buy cake pans. I was going to like knee-jerk order some cake pans and then I actually rummaged in the cupboard and found perfect ones, so that was fine. Made the cake and yeah. I will put in the little, I took a little video because the light was really funky where I set it up. So there we go. That was the wedding cake. That was my contribution to their wedding, because I didn't, before all of this, I didn't know them very well. But now we're much closer now, after many hours in the hospital together. Anyway, it was a lovely day. It was a lovely day. When I get some pictures I can put up, I'll show you a picture of us. But at the moment they're still processing with the photographer, and it's please do not post anything. I didn't take a photo. I didn't get my phone out of my bag. It was just nice not to. We were just in the moment there. And then Richard was very tired and we drove home, which was good too. So that's that. That's my number 4. Next week we will have at least 1 giveaway. I don't think we'll have 2. I can't imagine I'm going to get 3 prompts finished this coming week, but you never know. You never know. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll get them sorted and done. So we'll definitely have the bug, the bee, the ladybird will be finished. So we will have at least 1 giveaway next week. So watch in next week. And I also, my channel is fully monetized. So hopefully, but I'm not putting adverts in the middle of videos. So there's that, but it's ticking over now. It's starting to tick up. So thank you very much for people who are watching my videos. Thank you. It's making a difference already. All I'm going to try and do with my YouTube money is pay the broadband, because I figure that's a legitimate expense, isn't it? Because I can't post on YouTube without paying for the broadband. And I need to shoulder the majority of the bills forever going forwards here. So yeah, so I figure if my YouTube can cover the broadband bill each month, I'm good and I'm happy with that. That's great, and it makes and that's 1 bill sorted. I also did, right after I posted my video, I just went, oh, I wonder. I set up a Ko-fi account. Now Ko-fi seems to be, it's not just about donating, but you can do that. Thank you to the people who did. I can't believe anyone actually looks in the description box, because I never look in people's description boxes. I find myself just watching videos and carrying on and watching the next video. But a few of you did, and that's so lovely. Thank you so much. It was such a surprise. So there's that facility, but there's also, it also works a little bit like Patreon without being Patreon. So I can set up things. I can also use it as a bit of a shop. So I'm wondering whether I might start that maybe. Anyway, the link for that is in my description. And I'm going to investigate it and see if it's going to be somewhere I can sort of put things up for sale now, rather than setting up Shopify, which I'm struggling to sit down and actually do. But I need to, but I'm struggling because I'm me and I'm funny, and sometimes it takes me a long time to get round to doing things. Right guys, this is nearly an hour long. That's long enough. At least I had some stitching to show you this week. I will see you next week with my end of March pieces and my beginning of April pieces, and see which ones I get going on first when Q-snaps are freed. I'm still quite sad that my Cross Stitch Studio 2025 Mystery Sale has fallen by the wayside. I am still collecting up the pieces of pattern, obviously. I'm downloading each piece, putting it in my Dropbox. Very possibly I will just simply download the entire picture when it's all released and stitch it like a normal piece, because I've not picked that up at all, and I have harvested the Q-snap from it. So that one has fallen by the wayside, but with everything that's going on, I think that's okay. I'm going to give myself the pass on that one. I'm going to stop beating myself up for not meeting things, because I'm doing as much as I need for my brain right now. Brain is full. Okay guys, I will see you next week. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to anybody who's donated a little bit or bought something from me. Needle minders, I really truly hope are in the post today. We all know what I'm like, but I am on it. I am on it. So there we go. Right guys, I will see you next week, and have good weeks everybody. Bye bye.